What's wrong with St. Christopher's legs? And how did St. Anthony end up with a pig? Hey everyone,
I'm Henry.
and I'm Father Johannes. Welcome to Hermit and Hog.
Via Alpina Sacra edition.
The next section of trail was pretty bad in terms of weather, just in time for the crossing of the Caravan Range. This is how I left Slovenia and reached the next country, Austria. Lots of rain, and only towards the end of the day, at the little shrine of Maria Waldesruh, the sun fought its way through. The next day brought more grey skies as I made my way to St. Margaret and in rapid succession to St. Anna am Sacra and Maria Wörth. The church of Maria Wörth used to be surrounded by water when it was first built. The water level was higher then. Now it is on a tiny peninsula. Its origins go back to the 9th century when the missionaries were sent out to the Slavic tribes that had been moving in from the east. Later, Maria Wörth became a collegiate church and eventually was given to the Jesuits. Today it serves as a parish church. But pilgrims still come to venerate the late Gothic statue of Mary and the Child Jesus. Some of them come by boat across the lake. I too took a boat to reach Klagenfurt, Carinthia's capital. I walked through the streets, visited a few churches, and was back on my way north to escape the dark clouds forming over my head yet again. There was much to see today and much to tell, but since I don't want us to reach the other end of the Alps only 5 years from now, I do have to skip many of the stories. More of those will be in the upcoming 460-page book, albeit you'll have to brush up on your German if you want to read it. One of the charming and curious things that I came across today was the large fresco of St. Christopher on the outside walls of St. Anna. I did not notice it right away, but upon closer inspection I saw that the artist had given the saint 2 left legs. Look at the toes. Only a man as steadfast in faith as this saint, I guess, will still stand upright despite all of that. But the story I want to concentrate on in this episode is connected with 2 men I met today. Both of them were providentially named Anthony, but not after the same saint. And thus they were a perfect mirror of the statues on a side altar of St. Margaret's, a church that I'd visited earlier. 2 Anthonys, 2 different saints.
St. Anthony of Padua?
Yes. And of course St. Anthony the Great, the Desert Father and Hermit.
The one with the pig.
Exactly. Which is why in the valleys of the Alps in this area he's referred to as what can be translated roughly as Pig Tony. No disrespect intended.
Of course not. How could the company of my noble ancestors be construed as anything but honorable?
Well, let's look at that. So, from what we know, Pig Tony, which sounds like a second-tier mafia boss, was born around the year 250 in Egypt. When his parents died, he took over the wealthy family estate, but one day he was struck by the words from the Gospel of Matthew, "If you wish to be perfect, go sell what you have and give it to the poor." This is what young Anthony did, and he withdrew to the desert for a life of prayer, for penance, and a life of poverty. His spiritual battles against demons and temptations are legendary and have been depicted countless times in art. And it may have been these reputed battles that, don't take it the wrong way, may have been the origin for the pig in his depictions. Animals that till the earth and roll around in the mud can be seen as a symbol for the lower powers of man and even the demonic, both of which Anthony is said to have overcome by prayer.
But that is defamatory.
It's nothing personal, it's symbolism. Like with the rooster and the turtle, remember?
But still, no.
Don't be offended. And the story is not over yet. It seems that this initial thought was replaced later by a more general idea that the wild boar, as a dweller of the remote wilderness, was but a companion of the hermit who had withdrawn to the same wilderness.
That's better. And sort of how we got to know each other.
Yes. But there is still more. For over the centuries, the pig would indeed become a symbol of hope for the sick and the poor.
That I like.
We'll see. So this is what happened. From the end of the 11th century, a newly established religious order, the Hospital Brothers of St. Anthony, took care of the sick, and in particular those that were said to suffer from the so-called Anthony's fire, a sickness that was later identified with the ergot fungus that befell rye and caused up to 40,000 deaths in Europe in some years. By the 15th century, the order maintained no fewer than 370 hospitals. Now, because of the existing link and association of St. Anthony and the pig, pigs would indeed become a popular way to support the order and its charitable work.
How?
Well, common people often donated a piglet that would be set apart, receive a bell, and then was fed by the entire village. When it had grown and fattened up, it was returned to the order to support their work. In fact, this practice was continued even after the decline of the order in some regions, such as here in Carinthia. A pig was fattened up by the entire village and slaughtered on the feast of St. Anthony on the 17th of January, and the meat was given to the poor. Well, that's how it was done. Don't look at me like that. And fear not, I like yogurt better than schnitzel. So what have we learned? Carinthia has a very high density of shrines in some areas. If you paint frescoes on a church wall, check your feet again just to make sure.
And pigs had quite a career. Sort of.
Right. That is all for now. See you next week. In the meantime, be joyful, do good.
And let the pigs live.